Many eons ago, during my existence in the YouTube plane, I have seen countless videos that bank on the topic of self-improvement and lifestyle tips, advice on how younger people can get forward in life. It's a popular trend that a lot of people can relate to because it's often something pursued, and in games, this feeling is also desired on a subconscious level. The more you play something, the more you expect out of yourself in order to play better. After all, you've dumped dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of hours into the game, right? Well, of course you should automatically be good. Well, I've done this myself where I've provided years of wisdom and knowledge into a fairly small and comprehensible video on how to improve at games. Or should I say, how to never improve at any game that you play. After some inspiration during my more recent journeys, the Call of Duty beckons me to input more sound advice that you should absolutely listen to, and in the context of Doom: The Dark Ages, I'm going to expand on an old idea, but apply it more specifically to the game of this video, where I will do the best I can to ensure that you stay on the right path, to not only being shit at the game, but also how to ensure consistency in remaining rock bottom. But before we really get started, it is extremely important to reassess what kind of games you have been playing prior before starting the Dark Ages. If you have been enjoying games with wholesome or cozy vibes, games with good communities surrounding them, games that make you feel relaxed and help you unwind, then we are going to have to flip the script and turn the ship around, because if you want a strong foundation of apathy, depression, and other negative behavioral tendencies, then you need the games that will magnetize the negative spectrum the most when played with the wrong mindset. So, uninstall those games and immediately go to your library and install these games instead. In League of Legends, join a Korean server if possible. Don't mute chat and always match the person's energy if they're flaming you. Mess up your builds too. Don't synergize any items whatsoever. Don't complete any builds. Also, feed as much as possible, and then blame your teammates for being bad. In Dota 2, pick a carry hero as your starting character and don't creep farm too much, fuck up your denials, and remain underfed. Let the enemy team take Roshan, ping spots that give no information and don't help the team whatsoever, and take frequent water breaks during pushes. All of this also applies to League. In fact, play both of them for maximum effect. In Counter-Strike or in Valorant, either keep chat open or mute it entirely. Don't learn callouts, don't drop weapons for anyone if they ask, and if they do ask, just call them a noob and tell them to do better. Don't learn lineups, don't learn abilities, don't learn the physical dynamics behind grenade throws in Counter-Strike, don't learn the dynamics behind abilities in Valorant, and always broadcast your movements during every round. In Dead by Daylight, ignore the meta. Don't think about survivor or killer builds that are actually good. Be selfish. Be a prick at every opportunity that you have. Hook hitting, bleeding survivors, cherry picking survivors, slugging, tunneling, flashlighting, all of these are tactics that can be smart when applied correctly, but very toxic when used with no strategic value. Don't heal, don't help with gen pops, don't pop any gens, just focus on your own survival, and if you do get hooked, just disconnect and re-queue the next game. As for single player, any game will do fine. The trick here though is to overreact to everything with negative connotations, and you can make even the coziest games into a hellspace to fuel your anger. So play the games that I recommended, and also add some additional games to shake things up like Fortnite, Rust, Destiny 2, DayZ, and Escape from Tarkov for further tilting and further depression. Now, generally multiplayer can be a fun and memorable experience. In fact, some of my strongest gaming memories actually come from multiplayer. But in this video, I'm going to do the best I can that I give you the right and proper advice in order to succeed in the Dark Ages. Number 1. Use distractions outside of the game whenever possible. Always use distractions. Making mistakes is an inevitable thing and is common to expect in whatever game that you play. More open-minded players can look beyond their anger and will work to rework their approach to a challenge and move forward. Well, don't do that. Instead, reload the game as fast as possible and then have something else to distract yourself with. This leaves no room whatsoever for self-reflection at the cause of your death and as to why you screwed up during the fight. Apps like TikTok or Twitter are prime sources of brain rot and distractions that you need to ensure this willful ignorance of your mistake. So when you die, Watch a TikTok, smash the desk, go outside, touch some grass. Anything outside of the Dark Ages is good for you. Flame the game on social media too, while it is loading or while you're outside doing something else and coping. Anything you can do to keep your mind occupied away from Doom the Dark Ages moments where you died is vital to ensuring that those reassessments of the gameplay optimization that you could put into is never a factor to take in after the mistake was made. If you have no distractions whatsoever, then disengage from the gameplay itself as much as possible until you reach a state of catatonia and zone out mindlessly as if you're looking at the wall dry up. You don't like the game's music? Good. Play your own, even if it disrupts the atmosphere and vibe that the game has to show. Any distraction that isn't in service of the game and your journey of improvement is essential and compounds with all of the other tips that I will provide throughout this video. Tip number 2, develop a complex and get on your high horse. Whether it be a god complex or a victim complex, this method of self-deception and tunnel vision rewires you into someone that is insufferable and is impossible to reason with. The From Software and Doom communities have wholesome sections, great people that I've gotten to know, great people that I've also watched. But the games also exhibit some of the most toxic, uncanny, brain-dead, and close-minded idiots that you will ever see in a single-player game. Laser focus on the negative parts of those communities, agree with everything that they say, and morph their ideas into your own. When talking about the Dark Ages or analyzing its gameplay mechanics, the challenges, and the difficulties presented, just put it all out there without fact-checking your confirmations about anything that you've discovered, about anything regarding your points. Use pseudo-terminologies or just simply make things up, advanced medical or scientific terms that are relevant to the game to make yourself sound smart, and present your case like it's gospel. Make response videos to other content creators and dissect their dissections with any excuses or sentences that you can muster, even if they don't make a lot of sense. We need volume here, not context. And also, we're not necessarily looking for consistency in logic, only raw and unchecked emotions. When you argue with other people online, flame them while putting down any sound rebuttal that they throw at you. You need to be an impenetrable psychological fortress where only you're right, nothing is your fault, every mistake was engineered and is a part of your grand design. Take notes from maniacal and narcissistic characters like Yuri from Red Alert 2 or Dr. Robotnik from the Sonic franchise. The development of a complex isn't necessarily about improvement, but reinforcement, because you're already good at the game and you already know everything, so why would you need to improve any further? So, be a better version of yourself at the expense of everyone else. Be the person that you think you are, even when everyone else thinks that you're wrong or lying. Tip number 3, play for the sake of playing and not necessarily because you want to. Each of the new Doom titles all play differently to each other, and this in turn has created a division in the community, more so than ever before. This of course has led to endless debates online about which one is the best, or how the new Doom doesn't play like the other Dooms, or how the new Doom isn't like Doom, and so on and so forth. Well, when you go into the Dark Ages, you need to completely disregard and ignore the loop as much as possible. Play the game however you actually want to play it, or play it like it's Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal, and keep a close-minded approach to anything remotely new or alien compared to what you've experienced before in the series. Its triple triad of melee, shield, and gun combat is what separates the Dark Ages from 2016 and Doom Eternal, and this will be the building block to your willful ignorance of anything different or new. All aim and no brain is the goal here. See head, shoot head, down goes demon, and move on. This limited and low effort mindset is perfect for a Zen-like experience, when you just want to relax after a bad day, when the last thing you want to do is put in more effort sometimes, but In this context, this method is perfect for removing any opportunities for experimentation, further challenges, and discovery of further weapon and movement tech, exploits in the game's overall design, or even just fruitful brainstorming about the game's themes and the potential that it could hold in the future of its life cycle. If you absolutely have to give a reason for why you're playing the game, just say that you are bored and don't disclose any further information. Instead of the fun zone, you need the comfort zone, where your ego and game experience is never tarnished, and any challenges that are thrown at you in the game can be cancelled out by just adjusting the sliders. Which goes into my next tip. Tip number 4, abuse the sliders, and if that's not enough, cheat. The difficulty sliders in the Dark Ages has been another divisive element in the game's design. Some people believe that it doesn't belong there and that id Software should have had more faith in their own decisions for a balanced selection of difficulties. But on the same token, people are loving the sliders because they can finally customize the kind of experience they want to have in a new Doom game, where even people that don't really play games can adjust the sliders to make things more manageable for them. But in the quest for cope maxing, the sliders are an invaluable resource to cancel any and all sources of discomfort or irritation. If an enemy is too fast, slow the game's speed down immediately. Parry windows too short, make them longer so that you don't have to worry about timing ever again. Whether you're taking too much damage or not doing enough damage, do everything you can to cancel out the obstacles that are thrown at you to ensure low effort and smooth brain slayer sessions, where you never die. Every mistake is forgiven and ignored, and there are no repercussions for not doing anything more that is asked of you. The difficulty selection doesn't really matter too much because everything can be adjusted at a moment's notice, and even if you rage somehow, always prepare excuses and reasons that take you out of the equation. The game is your slave, and it's in a world where there is no free will, only your will. When things go wrong, throw a tantrum at minute mistakes, blame the game and the people behind them for said mistake, then go to the sliders and fix things yourself. After all, it's not your fault, it's theirs. Now, if you're ready for more challenges, or if you actually want to do those challenges, you can also do this by doing Pandemonium or Ultra Nightmare runs. However, to ensure that you never ever die during those runs, adjust the sliders so that failure is close to impossible. And if you do somehow die and lose your save, then there is another solution. Just simply use Cheat Engine and give your character infinite health so that they never die. In fact, just use any cheats that are available. They offer the path of least resistance, and to secure that eternal power fantasy, you can use resources such as sliders or external tools like Cheat Engine to immortalize your precious UN or Pandemonium saves. Tip number 5, play when you're in a bad mood. In my experience, multiplayer has simultaneously been some of the best and worst experiences at the same time. When I'm in a good mood and I play with people that are engaging, or if I'm playing with friends or my brother, I always have more of a blast than in any single player game I've ever played. But when you're in a bad mood, it can get really ugly, and I've had some ugly moments in my life when playing these type of games, and I've thrown some bad rages at earlier stages in my life. Well, you're in luck here, because bad moods may be the most important tip that I give you here. Mood affects everything in regards to what you do in life, and with this in mind, having a bad day or a mood swing in the negative zone is akin to a boxer practicing shadowboxing to sharpen their technique and footwork. You want to apply this logic into your games where bad moods are treated like a muscle. Again, treat your bad moods and also treat your anger like a muscle and work towards making the game as boring and as miserable as possible for anyone else that watches you play. If you are streaming, flame chat. Ignore donations, spend 95% on the game and 5% on chat. That way you give them the most minimal attention possible when playing Doom the Dark Ages. Any opposing forces of negativity needs to be cancelled out with more negativity. If someone tells you to calm down, double down. If someone tries to suggest a tip on how to play better, tell them that they're a noob and to shut up since they don't actually know what they're talking about and move on. The complexes that you've developed, the abusing of the sliders, cheating, and the aggressive and antagonistic moods that you've created are like your sword and shield against things like self-improvement, holistic exploration of the combat mechanics and game design. The only experience that really matters here is yours. Your excuses are your minions, and your iron logic will protect you from genuine and thoughtful criticism of your viewpoints, your opinions, in your approach to playing the Dark Ages. Other content creators in the Doom community are also to be ignored. Don't indulge in tips or guides, reviews or opinion pieces about the game. It's not enough to just throw cuss words and insults at the game and at other people. You need to be as unlikable as possible. And putting yourself in a bad mood while playing this game is a powerful engine for a negative focused experience. And the final tip to help you never improve at this game is to never warm up, practice, or research. In any kind of in-depth single-player experience or multiplayer game, your subconscious part of the brain will begin to feel an intense desire to improve and get better. This is a natural part of the human psyche, and it manifests in one way or another, even if it's not a game. It doesn't really matter that much about your relationship with said game, whether it be casual or competitive. You will eventually compete against something, even if it's against yourself. In Doom the Dark Ages, there are plenty of ways you can utilize different weapon combinations when synergized with your melee and shield abilities, making the game into something that is neither 2016 or Doom Eternal, but as a game that is its own beast. Well, since you already know so much about games anyways, and about everything else in life, I'm sure, why learn about things that you don't need? Just dive right into the game and never think about what you're actually doing. You know when you automatically do something without thinking about anything? Just do that. Be brainless and aimless. Resources regarding the Dark Ages, things that could help you out, can be thrown out of the window here. If what you're doing works, then it works. In a game that encourages and rewards deeper exploration and experimentation of underlying game mechanics, gunplay, and movement, these are things that you need to ignore. This stuff is fluff, and you need to just simply stick to the most basic actions that you can think of, especially if it works, and if it's worked before. Even if there are times where the game does provide some challenges that requires you to think a little bit more, you need to continue to do the opposite and remain consistent in this behavior. Also, if you want an intelligent answer to a question, just answer the question yourself, which is also why you should continue to ignore and disregard the advice of others that other people look up to. Getting up in the morning and existing is enough of a warm-up here, so you don't need to go out of your way to waste more time and get a feel for anything. Just simply boot the game up and turn your brain off. Practicing? That's just for people that frequently visit the skill issue clinic. I will repeat what I've said before again. If it works, it works. When you have an effective way of brute forcing your own way through the game's content that you don't care about, you don't really need anything else at that point. This advice also includes not taking advantage of the shield runes or melee upgrades, and if you do happen to use them, don't look too deep into how you can use them more effectively. Also, don't bother exploring. This is a game about killing demons, and anything else is simply a waste of time. Maybe there'll be an enemy that increases your health, armor, or ammo, but if you've already been adjusting the sliders every time it gets difficult, or if you've just been straight up cheating, then why even bother doing this? Speaking of which, if you just want the achievements and nothing else, just use this app instead, where you can manually unlock the achievements and then tell other people how hard you work to get them. And that's all I have for now. These tips will give players a strong start to ensuring that they will forever be shit at Doom the Dark Ages. If you're a player that prefers regression over progression, then heed the words I have spoken the whole time and follow them to the T, and never ever waver along your journey to rock bottom. For those that will take everything that I've just said and do the exact opposite and wish to improve, then you have done something wrong and will have to start from scratch. So stay safe everyone, and thanks for watching.